from our Toronto studios. This is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum. I am Ahmed Ramadan. Two Democratic senators say their trip to the Middle East convinced them Israel is carrying out ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. This and more on today's show. Stay tuned. The Palestinian Health Ministry in Gaza reports that 6 more Palestinians, including 2 children, died of malnutrition in the past 24 hours due to Israel's months-long blockade of food and humanitarian aid to the region. This brings the famine-related death toll to 393 people, with 140 of them children. Officials note that 115 of the deaths, including 25 children, have occurred since last month. That was when the UN-backed Integrated Food Security Phase classification formally declared Gaza a famine zone. Since March 2nd, Israeli authorities have fully closed all border crossings. Aid groups warn that the siege has pushed Gaza's 2.4 million people deeper into starvation. Meanwhile, the global Samud Flotilla has docked in Tunis. Thousands welcomed boats carrying activists and aid from Barcelona, Spain. They waved Palestinian flags and sang as the ships arrived. Mandela Mandela, grandson of Nelson Mandela, joined a South African delegation prepared to sail with the convoy. Organizers say the flotilla aims to break Israel's blockade and deliver supplies to Gaza. 2 Democratic senators say the recent trip to the Middle East has left them convinced that Israel is engineering the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. Maryland's Chris Van Hollen and Oregon's Jeff Merkley say Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to drive Palestinians from Gaza and the West Bank. Van Hollen describes reports of U.S. and Israeli plans to relocate Palestinians abroad as sickening. Both senators are calling for strong international pressure to preserve land for a 2-state solution. Earlier this month, the International Association of Genocide Scholars issued a statement saying Israel's actions in Gaza meet the legal definition of genocide. As well, last year, the International Court of Justice accused Israel of genocide. Although there is growing dissent among U.S. lawmakers, Congress so far largely continues to back U.S. military support for Israel. Israeli soldiers have killed at least 40 people across Gaza since dawn on Monday. 25 were killed in the north, 14 in the south, and 1 in central Gaza. Hospitals report 67 bodies in the past 24 hours and 320 wounded. The Palestinian Health Ministry said Israeli soldiers shot 14 people while they were seeking food and humanitarian aid. That brings the total killed by Israel while collecting food since May to 2,430, with more than 17,000 injured. In occupied East Jerusalem, 6 Israelis were killed and many wounded in a shooting. Israeli officials blamed 2 Palestinians from the West Bank, saying both suspects were killed. Israel has struck Al Roya, a commercial tower near Al-Azhar University in Gaza City. Al Roya was the home to human rights organizations, medical clinics, law firms, children's care centers, and other social and civil institutions. It is the 4th large building to have been demolished in Gaza by the Israeli military in the last 2 days. Hamas has confirmed that it has received a new U.S. ceasefire proposal through mediators. The group said it is ready to return to negotiations if Israel agrees to halt the genocide and withdraw from Gaza. Spain has announced an arms embargo on Israel and closed its ports and airspace to weapons shipments. Israel's genocide in Gaza has killed over 64,000 Palestinians since October 2023, the majority of them women, children, and the elderly. Thousands more are believed to be under the rubble. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza. The Los Angeles Holocaust Museum has taken down a social media post that extended the Never Again pledge beyond Jewish suffering. The museum's Instagram post had read, "Never again can't only mean never again for Jews." The phrase, "never again," has long been associated with genocides from Bosnia to the Holocaust, indicating a commitment to prevent such atrocities from happening again. One pro-Israel donor threatened to cut funding. The museum later removed the post and issued a statement. It said the message was part of a pre-planned inclusivity campaign, but admitted it was easily open to misinterpretation. The statement stressed the museum did not intend to make political comments about what it called the ongoing situation in the Middle East, referring to the genocide in Gaza. Supporters of the original post argue never again must apply to all humanity. They say the pledge loses meaning if it is just limited to Jewish people, noting the same point was raised during the Bosnian genocide in the early 1990s. Yemen's Houthi movement launched a drone that struck southern Israel on Sunday, days after Israeli forces killed several Houthi leaders, including Prime Minister Ahmed al-Rahawi. The attack shut down Ramman airport near Israel's southernmost city, Eilat, for hours and injured 2 people. Experts say the incident has exposed vulnerabilities in Israel's air defense system. It has also pressured security officials to explain how the lapse occurred. The Israeli military has admitted that its interception and alert systems had detected the drone. However, it failed to flag it as hostile. While Israeli officials claim there was no technical malfunction, they have announced a full investigation. Yemen's Houthis have vowed retaliation against Israel over its genocide in Gaza and the targeting of their leadership. Thousands rallied in Washington over the weekend against President Donald Trump's federal control of the city's police and deployment of National Guard troops. The We Are All DC March united advocacy groups, civil rights organizations, and labor unions. Demonstrators marched from Meridian Hill Park to Freedom Plaza near the White House, chanting "Troops Go Home" and carrying signs that read "End the DC Occupation." Speakers condemned the weeks-long federal presence. Washington Council member Janice Lewis George called for full statehood, while labor and immigrant rights advocates warn of harm to communities of color and small businesses. Trump declared a crime emergency on August 11th, sending more than 2,000 troops and federalizing the Metropolitan Police. His administration claims nearly 2,000 arrests, but local officials say crime was already falling. The rally ended with vows to keep protesting as Trump threatened similar crackdowns in other Democratic-led cities. The U.S. job market is showing troubling signs. Unemployment has risen to 4.3%, with the nation posting its first net job loss since 2020. Details coming up after the break. Welcome back. Border Czar Tom Homan says federal operations will soon hit sanctuary cities, with Chicago among the first. Speaking on CNN, Homan confirmed action in the city this week. He claims jurisdictions that refuse to cooperate release public safety threats back into communities. The Trump administration has long linked undocumented immigrants to crime, but observers say most detained people have no criminal records and many have lived in the U.S. for decades. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker condemned Trump's rhetoric after the president compared the operations to the Vietnam War film Apocalypse Now. Trump wrote that he loves the smell of deportations in the morning, echoing a line from the napalm of the 1979 movie. Pritzker said the president was threatening war with an American city. Trump later claimed that he is not going to war, but cleaning up cities. Analysts say the clash highlights deep divisions over immigration policy. The head of the World Health Organization is urging protection of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, as the agency faces threats from the Trump administration. Tedros Ghebreyesus praised the CDC as a global model, saying its work has saved lives in the United States and abroad. He said the agency's expertise has inspired many countries to set up similar institutions, including the Africa CDC, which he helped establish. Ghebreyesus said no institution is perfect, but insisted the CDC's contributions remain invaluable and must be shielded from political interference. His remarks came after U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. fired CDC Director Susan Moneris, triggering senior resignations. Kennedy has also downplayed vaccines, drawing criticism from public health leaders. Republicans are facing fresh outrage over their budget law known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. The measure slashes $1 trillion from Medicaid to help fund tax cuts for the wealthy. A new analysis by the Center for American Progress says no state or congressional district will be spared. By 2034, every district in the country is projected to see tens of thousands lose coverage. On average, 33,000 people in each district would become uninsured. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office already warned the law would push 14.2 million more Americans off health insurance in the next decade. States with the largest losses include California, Florida, and Texas, each with over 1 million newly uninsured. Democrats are calling the law a disaster. Even some Republicans are scrambling to delay parts of it ahead of midterm elections. Experts say the cuts reverse years of progress and threaten families nationwide. The Department of Labor has found a dramatic drop in job growth in the U.S., along with a rise in unemployment. From May to August, average job growth in the country dropped 75% compared to last year. The unemployment rate has risen to 4.3%, showing a net loss of jobs in June, the first since 2020. Employers added only 22,000 jobs in August, which experts say is far weaker than expected. Manufacturing, construction, and oil drilling have been hit with losses. Analysts say a moderate gain in healthcare jobs was offset by the Trump administration's continued federal job cuts. Since January, the government has shed nearly 100,000 jobs. The report is the first to be issued after President Donald Trump fired the Labor Department's official overseeing jobs data last month. Independent Senator Bernie Sanders blasted Democratic Party leaders on Saturday for refusing to back New York City mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani, calling him the future of the Democratic Party. He spoke before a packed crowd as part of his national Fighting the Oligarchy tour at Brooklyn College. Sanders said it was hard to understand why New York's leaders would not support a candidate who grew from 2% in polls to tens of thousands of volunteers and has energized young and non-traditional voters. He and Mamdani also warned of wealthy donors and Trump-aligned forces working to block the mayoral candidate's rise. If elected in November's race, he will be the first Muslim and the first South Asian to become mayor of America's largest city. Mamdani, a Democratic Socialist, won the Democratic Party's primary for the election in June. Sanders said the backlash to Mamdani's victory from the White House, establishment leaders, and billionaires reflects the growing popularity of progressive wave gaining unstoppable momentum. Houston's Museum of Fine Arts has opened a landmark exhibition that traces 1,200 years of Quranic art. Titled Sea of Ink, Forest of Pens, it features rare manuscripts, illuminated works, and modern interpretations. Highlights of the show include one of the earliest surviving fragments of the Quran, a mid-7th century folio from Saudi Arabia. Contemporary pieces are also on view, such as Chinese calligrapher Haji Nur-Din's Ayatul Kursi scroll. The exhibition showcases the holy book's artistic, cultural, and spiritual legacy across continents. Sea of Ink, Forest of Pens is on until June 2026. Scientists in Ireland say the body's immune system can be reprogrammed to heal faster using electrical stimulation. Researchers at Dublin's Trinity College have found that stimulating white blood cells central to immunity, known as macrophages, can push them into anti-inflammatory state. This boosts tissue repair and reduces harmful inflammation. Using human blood samples, researchers applied small electrical currents in the lab. They discovered that treated macrophages triggered stem cell recruitment and new blood vessels growth, which are both crucial for healing. Lead author of the study, Dr. Sinead O'Rourke, says the findings show for the first time that electricity can both suppress inflammation and enhance repair. Experts say this could open new, safe therapies for treating wounds and inflammatory diseases by harnessing the body's own repair system. The breakthrough was published in Cell Reports Physical Science. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.